Hello, Aubrey. How's it going today?
I'm great, Lindsay. How are you?
Excited to be here. I have a question for you today, though. You ready?
Okay, yes.
So, are you a good speller, Aubrey? Is this a strength or is it something that you've always struggled with and you're working on spelling skills?
It is a strength. I actually was like a spelling star as a kid. I won a bunch of spelling
Oh,
bees, which
wow.
we call it a spelling bee here in the US, where kids just like take turns spelling words. And I won at the
Yeah.
school and then at the district. And so, yeah, I'm a pretty good speller.
District.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah. I have some
Wow.
little trophies. They're cute little like elementary
Spelling
school
trophies?
trophies.
What does a spelling trophy look like? Is it like a kid writing something on a I'm curious.
I actually have one. I'm going to show it. So if you guys are on
Okay.
YouTube, you can see it. I'm going to be right back.
Okay.
This is funny
Oh, love
because
it.
my husband has it on his you can see
Just
first
it just
grade,
says
has
first.
my
Okay.
maiden name, speller. It's, like, so
Oh, so
cute and
fun.
old
Alright.
looking,
Well, that
like
is a
something
fun
from the '70s.
that's a fun fact about you, Aubrey, that you are a district spelling bee winner. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I know,
Feel
right?
like
But
I'm in
I
the presence of greatness here.
for the longest time, I thought it was because I read a lot. I'm like, "Okay, I see these words spelled correctly, so that's why I'm a good speller." But I
Right.
think you're right, Lindsay, that it's sort of a natural aptitude for some people, and some people really struggle with spelling no matter how much they read.
Yeah, I mean, I know people that are really good and analytical at metrics, add a ton of value at work. They just don't spell that well. It doesn't it's not I don't see it as a measure of intelligence is what I'm trying to say. I see it as like a quirk. Either you're good at it or you're not as good at it, right?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, and there are some words in English that even really good spellers mix up. Like,
Yeah.
there are mistakes even though I won spelling contests, there are still words that sometimes I'll mix up because they're either so similar or the way they sound, the way they're used.
Yeah.
So today we're going to share 3 common misspellings that native speakers make these, you likely make these, but it is good to know because when you are writing something important, maybe emails, you wanna make sure to spell these correctly.
Oh yeah. And if you can conquer these, master these, you're going to be better than like 50% of all native speakers.
Exactly, right? At least 50%, maybe
At
more.
least 50%. I've seen these are very common mistakes, especially the second one that we're going to go into today. But first, Aubrey, shall we let our listeners know where else they can go to cover get a cool episode?
Yes, this actually came up when we were recording episode 2194, Play It Cool with these English idioms,
Mhm.
and when we said, lose your cool is when it came up. You
Yes.
mentioned, Lindsay, like, "Oh, lose versus loose." We see this
Oh,
misspelled a
right.
lot, and we
Right.
promised a follow-up episode.
Yes, and I actually sent an email out to our listeners on our email list today to ask them, what makes you lose your cool? I really want to get to
Mm.
know our listeners on our list, and I'm curious, what are the things that make you lose your cool in life? Whether it's just little things, right? Lack of attention to detail or traffic, or it's bigger things like you
Yes,
mentioned injustice. When you see injustice, Aubrey,
absolutely.
you lose your cool, right?
And be sure to hit follow because very soon we are going to do a couple more episodes because we have so many idioms for this
Mm.
in English that we
Hmm.
use when we're talking about getting angry, losing our cool, that we
Yeah.
want you to be able to use these interesting idioms.
100%. I am so excited. So, all right, shall we get into today's words
Yes,
that if we can get these, we're better than half the native speaking population.
exactly. So first we're going to talk about lose versus loose. Of all of our misspellings today, these are the only 2 that sound different. So you would think that would help, but I still see these misspelled so much.
Yes.
Luckily, it only matters for writing because they sound different for speaking.
Right, exactly. So lose. Okay, so the first one is the verb, right, Aubrey? So to
Exactly.
lose, LOSE, is a verb that means to misplace something or to fail to win.
Exactly.
Do you tend to lose your keys easily, Aubrey, or
I do. I
items?
always
Yeah.
lose my keys. I had to
Really?
put one of those, trackers on it so that from
Oh,
my phone,
the
I
air
can have it
tag?
make noise. An AirTag,
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you. I can try and find
yeah.
it.
Yeah, people have made strategic use of the air tag, right, as it's come onto the
Mhm.
market for sure. So for
Exactly.
example, I always lose my keys, right? Or
Yeah.
I didn't think they would lose the game. All right. So two kind of ways of using this, right?
Yes, and you notice it has that Z sound on the S. So when
Yeah.
it's just one O, lose is with the Z sound, even though they're both spelled with an S.
Right. Okay. So that is the first one. And then what is the second word that we need to know that's different? Yes.
Loose. So this is spelled 2 O's, Loose. This is
Hmm.
an adjective that means weak or not tight or movable. Like, these pants are a bit loose on me. That's always
Right.
nice. When you try on pants, like,
Yeah.
you must have lost some weight.
Right, that's a good feeling, right? Maybe the
Yeah.
next season you put the same pant oh, I guess I whatever, I
Whoops.
lost a couple of pounds because now they're loose. It's a good
Right.
feeling for sure. Loose. These pants are a bit loose on me, or the chain on my bike is loose, right? So sometimes your chain will come off your bike and then you have to put it back on, your hands
This
get all
happens to my daughter a
dirty.
lot.
Oh,
She'll
really?
come in, she's gonna go to school, and then she's like, "Oh, no, the chain's loose again," so we have to fix it before she
Ah.
can leave.
I see. Yeah, it happens. It's normal. So
Yeah.
loose versus lose. Why do you think most people get this confused? Or why do you think many native speakers get this confused? Did they just not think through which one they
Yeah.
should be using?
I think that's it. I see this mistake a lot, like, in Facebook posts, texts,
Yeah.
where it's just very quick. You're not thinking about the spelling. You don't stop to think which one is it.
Right.
And if someone hasn't really thought this through or realized they're making this mistake,
Yeah.
then they don't even know they're making it.
100%. It's so true. Okay, this next one though, Aubrey, this is the winner here. This is the big one that I see all of the time with native English speakers.
Yeah, I even see, English teachers make this
Oh,
mistake.
yeah.
My
Mhm.
daughter's English teacher sent an email with this mistake. I'm like, "You know what?
Oh,
Happens to the best of us."
yeah, for sure. So what is it?
So this mistake is to write it's lead versus lead. They sound the same. That makes it
Mhm.
even more difficult.
Yeah.
And in the past tense, the verb lead,
Yeah.
like I'm leading my children to school, it should be written Lead, but we'll often see it written incorrectly. In the past,
That's
it
right.
should be led.
Right. So often people will say the past tense in the same spelling as the present tense. Today I
Right.
lead, yesterday I led, but the spelling changes. We drop the A, so it becomes led in the past, right, Aubrey?
Yes, there are 2 reasons this happens. I was kind of looking at this, and it makes sense. Like, first of all,
Uh,
the fact that the word lead exists as a noun in English, right? I need a
mhm.
lead pencil. It's,
Oh,
PB on the chemical chart. Get the lead
right.
out is an expression that means, like, hurry up. So this makes this so much more difficult that this word exists, but it means something else.
Interesting. So you think that's part of the problem there? Huh.
Definitely.
Okay,
And there
good to
is
know.
another reason, right, Lindsay?
Yeah, what is it, Aubrey?
The
Mhm.
verb read really throws us off because read is spelled
Oh,
the same in the past and the present, but in the past it rhymes
yes.
with led,
Red,
L-E-D,
red.
like I read a
Mm.
book yesterday. I think this really throws people off,
That's a good point. I've never thought about that. And a lot of what we do when we learn languages is we look for patterns. I know when I started
right?
learning Arabic, I was desperately looking for patterns. What can I find? What can I connect? And that's what we would do. And so, but it doesn't match in this case, right? You don't
Yes, the
go to
patterns burn
yeah.
us on this, right?
You gotta be careful of that. I think what we have to do for me, what I've had to do as a native speaker of English to just remember this and get it right is have a special place in my brain for this particular difference, lead versus lead.
Exactly,
Special place,
exactly.
go to it, even if you see all these mistakes all the time, you know better, and you just have a special you just
Right.
make a point to remember this one in particular, right?
Exactly. It really has to be flagged in your brain because
Yeah.
most even native speakers that make this mistake don't realize they're making it. So when you use led in the past tense, like I led my dog to the park, she led a meeting today at work. Remember, this is without the A, Led. And like Lindsay said, just kind of flag that in your brain so that it looks wrong if you
Yeah.
see Lead when you're talking about the past.
100%. So we're going to carve out a special place in our brain for these particular mistakes, especially this one, Aubrey. Yes.
Yep.
Love it. Okay, I am excited. These have been two really good ones. Let's get into another this one might be the most important of all three.
Yes, because it's the most common. It's a then
Oh yeah.
and then, right? One is spelled with an E, one is spelled with an A. At least in the US, when we say them, they sound the same.
Yes. Yes, we don't generally change the pronunciation. Sometimes there's a slight difference, she is taller than her, maybe, right?
Yes, but
But
small
generally,
enough
it's hard to tell the difference
that we
between the
can't hear
pronunciation.
it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So than with an A is used in comparisons, like she
Mhm.
is younger than I am,
Mhm.
and sounds the same as
Yes.
then, which is used to talk about time, but that one is spelled with an E.
Right. So, for example, with the time examples, back then I lived in California. Or Aubrey will be the next one.
I cooked the rice and then I made chicken.
Yes.
Exactly. Whenever you're talking about time, remember
Mhm.
it's with an E. Maybe a little mnemonic device will be to think about the E at the end of the word time, right? Time. See that
Hmm.
E at the end of time and
Yeah.
remember then with an E.
I like that mnemonic device. I was wondering if we're gonna get any of those today. Yeah, I
I just
like
made
that.
that up on the fly.
Oh, impressive.
That
Presence of
makes
greatness
sense
here,
though.
spelling greatness. So
There probably are others out there because I guarantee you English teachers are trying to help students remember this, think
yeah.
about this, right? So because it's just such a common error.
Well, that makes me curious. How did you even prepare for that spelling bee? Did you just read the dictionary and then develop mnemonic devices for all these big words, or how did you prepare for it? What?
Good question. They provide you with lists of the words that will be, given to you at the spelling
Ah,
bee.
okay.
And so you have, but it's like pages and pages and pages of words. And a
Mm,
lot of them, my daughter was in a spelling bee not long ago, and I was looking through it, and they were the craziest words, a lot of words I had
yeah,
never heard of. And I have a
sure.
master's in English, words that we're not familiar with, which seems kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
Let's learn to spell
insane.
words we actually use.
Right, right. Interesting. Okay. So good stuff. Well, we'll come back to that another day, I'm sure. That experience. I love that. Well, let's get into a
Nice.
role play though, Aubrey, shall we? Yeah.
Yeah, so in this role
Okay.
play, you are picking me up for work. We're carpooling.
Okay, here we go. Okay. What is this? Get the lead
Get the
out?
lead out.
Oh,
That
the
was I was saying
lead.
this is
Oh,
like an expression. You use this to say hurry, get the lead out.
yeah. And
I grew up
interesting
saying
because
this. It's
no,
fun and friendly. I love it.
I don't know that at all, Aubrey. We have a
Oh,
lot of
that's funny.
disconnects when it comes to vocabulary,
Right? This is
right?
maybe mostly in the Northwest in the US.
But
In
it's
this area, if you say
yeah.
get the lead out, people are gonna know you mean hurry up, let's go.
Fascinating. And it's also interesting when I read that, I didn't know because I didn't know the phrase. I didn't know
Right.
whether I was supposed to say get the lead out, right? To
Mm.
lead in the present tense or get the lead out,
Oh,
right?
this is where it really confuses us. Yes, because in this
Spelled the
phrase,
same.
it's lead like the lead in a pencil. Like imagine you have lead in your
And you're
shoes weighing you
mm,
down.
it
It's
makes
like get the
sense.
lead out of your shoes, hurry
Yeah.
up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
But it's
yeah.
true when you see this and you're reading along, it's like, wait, is this lead or lead?
Exactly. So that is one area where you really have to look for context. Even a
Yeah.
native speaker, if they didn't know that phrase, would not know what to say, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you guys have got to come and check out the video on YouTube when Lindsay went to read the role play and she's like, wait, what is this? I'm not sure how to read this.
I can't hide my
Gotta read
expressions.
ahead. I love
My
it.
emotions are all over my face, Aubrey. I cannot hide
Totally.
them. Like, what am I supposed to say?
Yes.
Guys, come over to YouTube, hit subscribe on our YouTube channel for All
Yes.
Ears English. Okay, we're gonna start this again,
We're
Aubrey. Are
ready
you
now.
ready? Here we go.
Yes.
Get the lead out. We're gonna be late.
Sorry, I always lose track of time.
I thought no one was worse than me at that.
Then you met me.
Should be okay though. I led the meeting yesterday, so I won't have to today. So it should be okay if we're a bit late.
Hey, does this jacket look too loose?
Oh, no, it looks good. Let's go. Nice. Very
Nice. So we used
common
all of them
conversation.
here. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And whereas this feels like a typical conversation, right? These words do occur, in a common cadence in English for sure.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yep, you're going to use all of them. Luckily, for most of these spelling errors, when you're speaking, it's not such an issue. But
Right.
when you're writing, that's where you really need to avoid misspelling them. But so first, you
Yes.
said get the let out.
Yep.
I love this expression. You guys might hear it on podcasts, on TV shows. It's less familiar to Lindsay. Maybe you'll start hearing it now, though, Lindsay. I wonder.
Maybe. It's very possible. That
Yeah,
sometimes does happen,
you'll have
right?
to let me know.
I will. I'll let you know. So then you said, sorry, I always lose track of time. So lose to lose is what
Yep,
we're doing here.
Lose, right? And it has that Z sound, lose,
Lose.
because we're
Hmm.
talking about time here.
Hmm.
And we're not loose, but
Right.
lose. I
Not lose.
lost track of
Yes.
time.
I love that. And then I said, oh, I thought no one was worse than me at that. Now, is this comparing? Is this using that comparative version or is
Exactly.
which spelling are we using here?
So we're
Aubrey?
using the THAN
Mm-hmm.
because you're comparing me to you. So whenever
Mm-hmm.
we're making a comparison, it's going to be than. Still
Right.
sounds like then,
Right.
but with an A.
Yes, exactly. And then, oh, I just used it again, right? With
Yes, right. We
the
see and
end as
then
a
all the
little
time.
right, as a little preview, right? You said,
Mhm.
"Then you met me," and this is chronological, right? Something happened
Exactly.
later, next,
So
then.
remember the E at the end of the word time. To remember this would be spelled with an E, THEN. Then you met me.
And then you said I said, "Should be okay though. I led the meeting yesterday, so I won't have to do it today. So, how are we spelling this one, Aubrey?
Yep, so this is LED, the
Yeah.
verb lead in the past tense, and this is, I think, the most common error in English spelling probably that you'll often see this written LEAD, and whoever wrote it won't even realize they made a mistake.
That's why it can kind of be a little bit of a confidence booster if we do carve out a special
Yes.
place in our minds. We can kind of feel a little smart, right? When we're like, "Oh, I know they made a mistake there," right? It's
Yes.
not like you're going to call people out, right? We're not
No,
going to
right,
do
don't ever point
that.
this out because
But when
they
you
probably
write,
don't even
no,
realize they might even disagree and have to Google it.
yeah,
Like, "What are you talking about?"
they definitely, especially social media. You see this when people are just
Oh, yeah.
writing their feeling or stream of consciousness, but you can know that you know it's wrong and you can write it correctly, and that feels good sometimes. Okay,
Absolutely, for
yeah,
sure.
love that. Okay, what's
And then the
next?
last one I said, "Does this jacket look too loose?" And that would be spelled with 2 O's, Loose.
Yes, and I said, "No, looks good. Let's go." Okay. This is fun today because I feel like we can get confidence boosters from knowing that we know the correct spelling that not
Yes.
everyone does.
Absolutely. Then I love what you were saying, like, don't correct anyone because
Yeah.
this can be tricky once you're aware of a lot of these mistakes. Sometimes you do kind of wanna correct someone or share that you know it, and that's gonna break the connection, right? So this is more for
Right.
helping you improve your spelling, knowing this, not something where you'd wanna correct someone.
Exactly. No, we know if we lead with confidence, we can find confidence in many different places. Sometimes it's from knowing that we are being correct, and that's fantastic. No one else has to know what's going on in our head, what is giving us that confidence, but that helps us walk through the world and be more likely to connect because we're more open. We're not worried that we're making
Yes.
mistakes, right,
I
Aubrey?
love that. I love
Yeah.
that as a takeaway, right? The more confident you are with even these smaller details, the more confident you'll be starting the conversation, right? Having these
Mhm.
connections in English. Of course, you don't have to be perfect, but as you learn these little details, you know you're going to write that email correctly. You know the difference for these very common misspellings.
All right. I love it. Well, thanks for being on the show today, Aubrey. Good advice, and I'll see you again very soon. All right.
Awesome. See you next time, Lindsay.
All right. Take
Bye.
care. Bye.